into the dropship, and we are out of the dropship. It's match 10. Apex Legends at Esports World Cup. It is the chance to cement yourself in esports history with a win here, but it still could go further. 10 teams are still yet to reach match point.
Guild Esports on your screen right now. They managed to cross into the match point bracket, I'm going to call it, group of teams, whatever you want to call it, where if they win this next game, they will be your champs. And I think what a story it is, right? The return of MT. He steps back into the competitive landscape. He picks up two players who he said he felt were inexperienced. And from that, takes them through the LCQ into one of the two qualification spots that was available, and now with a shot at winning the whole thing. We did see a knock coming in here on SSG, by the way, and Elevate Bleed, they managed to convert.
Yeah, Elevate Bleed just having a little look towards SSG and saying, well, if you're going to drop this close to us, there is a chance for us to get some kills. And they do put one potentially on the board here. But now I'm looking at where the zone's going to be going, because that's going to tell us a big story at who has some of the best positions for this next circle and for this next game. And at the moment, it does look like we're going kind of back towards Barometer, but I will say maybe more Jurassic here, right? There's not as much Barometer in this one.
It's a Barometer zone, everybody, is what Dan is trying to say. It does look like we're going back that way. Now, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. It is looking like another Barometer zone here on Storm Point. Team Liquid on match point. It's their POI, and it's not the first time they've had this opportunity. Team Falcons as well, we know they love these Barometer zones. And it isn't the first time that they have been here. They did win one earlier, but this is the one that matters most.
Well, Liquid did have a ring console, so they will have confirmation that it is going to be pulling towards them again. This is the third time now. The first time it pulled towards them, they hadn't got onto match point yet. It was just about getting to match point. But now this will be the second time since they've crossed that threshold. And if they pass up this opportunity, they may leave this tournament kicking themselves after this one.
Well, it's crazy now. You've got to think about the mental gymnastics that's going through the heads of Team Liquid, right? We've seen them here, and they managed to get onto match point, and then they like play a different spot, which they think is going to be a priority. The zone pulls back away from where they find themselves, and now they're probably thinking, okay, zone's on us, but where do we want to play? Do we want to play the top tower of Barometer, which seems to be the play call from them for now, or do we want to try and play for the building that we thought might be Godspot of just a few games ago? It is so fascinating to watch the decisions being made, and you can see the one that Liquid have made right up on the top of that tower. It's the safest place to play. They can guarantee themselves some kills.
Liquid have moved fast, Guild has moved fast, FaZe have moved fast, and Team Falcons have moved fast, by the way. Falcons already in Barometer, joining 5 other squads at this point. DMS also taking this northern choke as they continue to use the zipline to get further, deeper into Barometer and ahead of some of the teams rotating after them. We're going to have 5 of our match point teams already in Barometer here.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken as well, DMS were a team who came through the Challenger circuit to get into Pro League, and I'm sure there'll be some people out there who'll correct me if I'm wrong, but what a story it would be for them to return and claim the title here in Riyadh. Elsewhere, just looking across the map at the moment, you can see that Barometer is starting to fill up, and Falcons are filling up one of those spaces. They're playing that bunker once more as we jump over towards Command. Now, GG hitting the big evac, the big boy, to get all the way across Storm Point from high to low, and I think this is probably going to be their best chance just to gather their thoughts, just to catch their breath before they touch down.
And just as it's been quite a few times this tournament, it's another 100% pick rate on Bangalore. There are a few off-picked legends. You can see a Horizon coming to the equation there as well. We know the Lifeline's also going to be a big part of it. A Catalyst that's been chosen by Luminosity Gaming, maybe to try and give them an extra oomph as they plan for their rotation. But we jump in with GG, who at the moment are in Jurassic. Now, it is looking like it's going to continue to pull down to Barometer, but there's always that what if, right?
Yeah.
What if it does shift away? I don't think it's going to, but I've seen crazier things happen.
I love how you're planting the seed, by the way, because if it does go to Jurassic, you're a genius. It's not, though. It's going to Barometer.
It's definitely going to Barometer, and wild to see it 3 times in a row, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Of course, it's not the exact same zone. It is going to be a little bit further into the northeastern side of Barometer than we had seen previously. But Guild are going to be able to lock down the building they currently reside in, and with a lot of coverage from these windows, you can potentially pick up some kills.
Falcons have left quickly. You can see in the kill feed that MT has gone down. Taskmaster manages to get that pick. Elsewhere, you can see EXO having a little bit of fight themselves. Guild, you have to wonder if they're going to be able to get the res and hold off this push. And maybe it's the white armor check that's allowed DMS to think, hey, this might be a fight we can take. This is a position we can take away.
How brave are you feeling if you're just DMS? You're going to be riding a high after that victory. But are you going to push in? Speaking of pushing in, though, Elevate Bleed will be pushing in here and will be initiating some damage.
Mater's going to go down first, though, and now the flank is less affected because there isn't damage. Lou has to escape. Zach has to watch from his knockdown shield, and Noct is going to fall. And Elevate Bleed, having got to match point, will not be able to close this out now. They will fall thanks to FaZe Clan getting those kills, and FaZe, remember, they are on match point.
Twisted Minds will also fall at the same time. That's one match point team, though, eliminated in Elevate Bleed. So that takes us down to 9 as the number gets even slightly smaller. But still plenty of teams that can cement themselves in history. Now, Zone 3 will be shown to us shortly. And that's going to make a big difference. I think a lot of these buildings that people have committed to, you can get stuck in those buildings if the zone does start to shift away from you. And then you need to be thinking about what's your plan of action. And you may not even be able to plan for it right now because you're not going to get the same information that we will on our broadcast here. It's not going to change that much for now for a lot of these squads. As you can see, it will continue
it's a barometer zone
towards barometer. Please don't barrage my social media.
You said it was barometer.
I did.
To be fair, I'm backing you up here.
But I did also say it's probably, like, surely we wouldn't see a third one in a row, right?
We have.
Here we are.
We're back at barometer, everybody.
It's not my fault.
Mizuchi down on that low ground. A reminder, Mizuchi are a match point as well. It was almost as if they were forgotten about, right, in that last game because they took on Team Liquid early, one of the first teams to fall out of the lobby. And now it just feels like everyone who's looking at each other is a team who's on match point, right? They're all next to each other, and it feels like it almost takes the pressure off maybe some of the teams who were there and were being focused. And now it's everybody just playing the game as it was designed to be played.
Well, there's only 3 teams that are outside this next zone, and they're all in the same area at the moment, may I add. Fnatic, Dragons, and Space Station are all closing into the same position, whilst everyone else is within the zone, and there could be a big fight happening on the eastern side. And here it is. This is the big fight I was talking about.
I mean, there's explosions, there's Exhibit, and there's SSG trying to clutch. Ziny with some good damage and will retreat back to his teammates, should be able to get the shield swap, but no! He will go down. Fnatic will fall first, though, as Koiful will get that kill. But where is the rest of Dragons Esports? Do they know where Koiful is? And Koiful got Ziny up. He's managed to get the shield swap, but it's a 2v3. And surely Dragons should be able to clean this up.
You'd think so, but there was a small moment for a reset, but it maybe won't happen. You can still see there's someone on the floor here. Gaming Gladiators were taking a peek towards this one temporarily, but they've moved back. So this is an isolated fight, and DRG definitely have the chance to shut down SSG.
Zilash is getting the information. The spray is coming in, and Space Station Gaming will be eliminated. The South American team with more kills to their name. Elsewhere, though, Aurora in trouble.
Aurora can have to try and do this as a 2 by the looks of it, if they can even get back on their feet. Zone begins to close, but it's not going to affect too many teams here because everyone's pretty much in there except Dragon Esports. But Aurora losing 1. Do they have a mobile respawn beacon? That's my biggest question here.
Jaguar is looking for some shots to line up. The respawn beacon would be nice. Does Mine Impulse have one? They're looting his body. It's an evac tower. And a ping on a Kraber. But it doesn't look like, especially from the point of view of Orain here, that they're going to have that Moby. GHS Professional will be eliminated in the meantime. 15 squads now remain.
That's another non-match point team eliminated. There is a respawn beacon right next to Aurora, by the way, but it's not exactly the easiest to access, especially one that you can sit on and not be shot. That's the biggest detriment to them here. And you'd imagine if they did have a mobile res, they would have already used it by this point. So it's about now trying to play this one out as a 2 for the time being, unless you can get to that res a little bit later.
Well, Pulverex did something pretty crazy as a 2 from that position quite some time ago in Apex Legends competitive history. Of course, that's a little bit of a different situation towards the end game, but still shows from the spot they find themselves in that all hope is not lost. GG now in a fight. Light with a little bit of damage. Maybe not the damage he was looking for, but the Bangalore ult is going to force the other team to retreat. And Lights found a Kraber here. GG making their way.
And remember earlier I said GG were kind of taking a peek at that fight between Dragon Esports and SSG. They knew there was a squad that was going to be arriving over towards Jurassic, and they did try and get aggressive on them, but Dragon Esports will retreat and say, we don't fancy taking that engagement. Maybe they heard the Kraber through the wind, as we are going to get Zone 4 information very shortly. Now, this is the one where it could change things for have you committed to the south or have you committed to the north? And it is going to be pulling south.
It's pulling out, and that is an interesting one for Team Falcons fans. Look at the road that they now have. It is treacherous and it is ugly. FaZe Clan being pushed inside of this building themselves. Nax, bit of a swing from him and good damage output as well. Should be able to buy enough time, especially with the fence going down, to get that battery popped. Arctic now looking for the stick with the Arcstar. Not going to happen. Gen goes down as well, just to give them a little bit more stability here. This is down on the south side of the zone. Blacklist International with the team trying to push them. Maybe a three-man swing here.
Well, Blacklist have got nothing to lose at this point. You think FaZe everything to lose, and they are desperately trying to defend. Great fences at the moment from Arctic just to keep them back. If one of those fences snags a player, it is so easy to just utilize the damage and the stun that is on that one individual.
Such a touchy moment here between these two teams. Nax trying to get the information, of course. The hands go up from the Seer just to see where that movement is coming in. They want to try and keep pushing this Blacklist International. They know that they have the armor advantage. They would have got those armor checks, but the Watson is making it almost impossible.
And you saw there in the hills, over the hills, it's Gaming Gladiators are arriving soon. So if this fight is elongated anymore, there's a chance for a third party here that neither of these teams will be expecting necessarily. But if you win this fight, if you can hold this southeast side, you are kind of alone there and maybe can walk into zone as now Arctic tries to get some damage.
It's another three-man swing attempted. Arctic swings out and gets that damage down. Another fence will go down, but that one's a little bit short.
Not as good.
A couple of inches, maybe the wrong side of what it needed to be. FaZe Clan are now going to leave though. The smokes will go down, but they're being shot in the back now. FaZe on match point, but on their back as well. Nax alongside Fnatic trying to survive, but here comes the push.
It was a massive risk from FaZe to try and burst out. Can they fight tooth and nail as a two? It's just Fnatic, but no. Another match team falls, and FaZe Clan now will be out. 14 squads remain.
They had to force their way in. GG are doing exactly the same thing now, but they are taking the aerial route from the top rope. Now, that bunker above them, that was where Falcons found themselves a little bit earlier, so the low ground is going to have to be played. A light. Well, you've got to hit some shots here, my son. You've got to hit some big ones and can't connect.
GG, by the way, in second place at the moment. If it was to end now, that's $375,000. But they have their eyes on the prize. They want that big $600,000 for first place. But they're all on blues. They have been able to get into zone, but the awareness of the rest of the lobby is certainly there. They were shooting them through the skies, and they know someone is below them here.
Keep your eyes on Team Liquid. Keep your eyes on Team Liquid. The edge of the top platform will be in. And speaking of being in the game, Aurora, 3 players back on the map. They've got 9 Impulse back in.
Aurora back as a full 3, but the zone continues to shift away from pretty much everyone in the lobby, may I add. Arguably the best team in the best position right now is ExoClan, who are not on match point. Now, a team that is Alliance, they have to move all the way from this north side. This was the most difficult shift. Anyone on the north has to now progress over these bridges, which are going to be watched very heavily by the southern teams.
There's going to be a lot of reliance on that zip line a little bit later, I think, for Alliance as well. But instead, they're going to look for a couple of kills. Effect, trying to fire through, trying to destroy the gen to make the fuse a little bit more of a problem for the team who is trapped inside. But he's got to be careful of those shields. He's got to take his time just to pop a battery here. Falcons still inside of this zone as GG will get blast back into the game. So Respawn's been a huge influence on how this game could go. We've seen Aurora bring a player back in, and now we've seen GG do it as well. 2 match point teams getting all 3 back in.
Everyone is finding a way to get back up to the healthiest position you could possibly be. You know what's crazy about match point? In this position, some teams would say, let's play for kills, let's play for second. In match point, you can only play for the win if you are on match point. You want to be getting first. You don't want to give that opportunity to anyone else, as Unlucky takes a lot of damage as they begin to move.
Alliance moving through the hot dog. Well, are they about to be fast food for the rest of the lobby? Shots coming in from Effect. forces that team away, and now they have to plan their move. They have to make their rotate, and there is that zip line. They are going to play for that wall. They are going to play for the side and try hold everyone else elsewhere. On the other side of the main barometer structure, you have Aurora still alive and still somehow surviving. Falcons, though, they've lost 0. It's up to How and Jemburn. I mentioned how this is a rough rotate for them. Well, you're seeing it now.
Well, they do have a respawn beacon, but will you get the opportunity to actually get that respawn? We've already seen 2 so far. LGD full, kill feed starting to explode as everyone's moving in. How's taken damage, so's Jemburn. Falcons have fallen, and Falcons will be out of match 10.
Guild Esports fall as well, another one of our match point teams, which now puts the pressure on to Team Liquid. Alliance have gone as well, and that's another match point team falling. Liquid have the height. Liquid might just have this game in their hands, but look at Aurora. It's been a game of respawns for them, but they're still in this.
Aurora sneaking into the zone and finding a little nook or cranny to play with, but it's Liquid who hold the supreme height right now as they shut down a member from GG. It has been a difficult time for Gaming Gladiators, and it looks like it might go from bad to worse.
Yanya gets the knock onto GG. GG, of course, another match point team, now down to just 2. Speaking of which, Aurora, they might be about to have their run end here as well. Kazak, the last alive, but there's the res potentially coming in from the lifeline. Oirain can't get back up quite yet. EXL want to swing this. They know they have to swing this. There is that lifeline res. Kazak with the bot down, gets damage down, but it's going to be the end of Aurora as well. EXL take them down, and Mizuchi now, they're on the bottom, and they are still alive. They are on match point, and they're into the top 8.
8 squads remain, 4 on match point, 4 are not. A 50% chance of a match 11 here. Liquid hold the high ground, but Exo Clan hold a building, and Luminosity Gaming hold the north side of this zone, by the way, as Team Liquid continue to rain down hell from above.
Blacklist International been eliminated. In the meantime, we now have 7 squads remaining, and for Team Liquid, this kind of zone is perfect for them. They can rain down fire, they can damage and force teams into each other, but at some point there is going to be that moment where they know they will have to drop, and the question is, will they land safely, or will they land and have their hearts broken?
EXL, ExoClan, and Luminosity, the last 3 teams alive that are not on match point. GG down to 2. DMS are watching over this from the left-hand side, by the way. They're still in a pretty good position. But the zone is going to close, and everyone kind of has a place to play here. And they should be able to keep away from one another. It's going to be the next zone that forces everyone into this final fight. It's the final zone. It's 7 teams that remain, but that might turn into 6 shortly as EXL desperately try and dive in here.
Well, Team Liquid are going to be forced to do something in a minute. It's going to be a leap of faith for Team Liquid. 7 squads in front of them. Below them, Timmy and Co are trying to leave, but they've got some fences in front of them to work through. On the other side of
That's now shredding GG as GG might fall here. And desperately, they've tried to get back on board with reses, with repositioning, but EXL just gone down as well. Only 2 teams left now, not on match point.
GG will fall as well. We're into our top 5. And maybe, just maybe, we're coming to the end of the road here. Team Liquid, here is the leap of faith. They land, they're safe. Team Liquid have got down from that high ground, but they're taking damage. The EMP is doing damage, but Nia's always going to exchange it. He gets the knock onto Walty.
They're safe for now, but how safe is my question? Jaguar is the last to go down. Liquid fall, Mizuchi fall. DMS still alive, but they're falling as well. It's EXO, it's LG, it's 2 teams who are not on match point.
There's no way that this is going to keep going here in Riyadh. We thought Game 10 was going to get it done, but LG have got something to say about it. DMS, as a 2, are pinched between Luminosity Gaming and Exo Clan. Taskmaster's got a Kraber. Taskmaster just killed Sweet and Fuck. What is going on?
It's Taskmaster against the world. It's a 1 versus X here for Taskmaster.
No Kraber ammo to work with, Doran, even though he's just done something nuts. We keep it going here in Riyadh. I cannot believe what we are seeing.
If you thought 10 matches was insane, how about 11?